posso ir traduzindo à Fátima.
Ok. Pronto. Então, first off, hello, I'm Valentina, and I'm gonna ask you to come a little bit nearer, because like this, everybody's too far away. Come.
Which ring is here?
Yeah. Okay, now this is better. Okay. Assim tá bom? Pronto. Perfect. I'm gonna sit down too so that I can see the images. Sandra, if you don't mind sitting next to Kim, because this chair would be really nice for me to talk to everybody. If you don't mind, that would be perfect. That way I can see the pictures as well and have a notion of what I'm talking about.
That's useful.
Yeah, it's useful. It is. Okay, is this good? Everybody can see? Yeah. So, first off,
I don't see very well.
Here. If you
like this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, maybe if you sit next to the nice lady in blue, you'll see better. Janet. Well, anyway, your choice. So, first off, I am not a farmer. I am not even a biologist. I'm a marine biologist. So, I know nothing about this. This is a point of start. I started in 2005 because I had a backyard and it was totally filled with waste and construction material, and I was like, no, this won't do, I need to do something. So I've been trying to make it a nice place, and first thing that I figured out is, okay, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, but that's good, not a problem, so let's try, see what happens. So this that you are seeing is our composting bin. All the waste from the kitchen usually goes into this pile, and then my husband complains that our kitchen smells. So this is not a good idea. Don't do this. Put the composter away from the kitchen. First useful tip. Second tip, and this is a bit messed up.
Seen from above.
Forget the pictures, they are out of order. This is not going to work. So, easier. Yeah. Okay. This is where I grow my seeds. I do not have nice trays. I just have a Pyrex full of water next to the kitchen, where whenever I have old vegetables, I just put them there. They grow, and I end up planting them, and some grow, some die, but it's a useful thing to have.
Sweet potato.
Yeah. So this is something I'm doing right, a beautiful strawberry, and this is actually something I wanted to talk to you guys about. It is a very cool technique that I don't like plastics. And everybody here is saying you need to use black plastics to grow food. It's not true. You don't. You can make a miniature Pico. What does that mean? You take a lot of nice black rocks, you put your strawberries in the ground or wherever you want, and you just put the rocks around them. And the rocks will accumulate heat during the day, and then they will release it. So you end up with beautiful flowers in a artificially warm environment without using any plastic at all. And this also helps with watering the plants, because usually when I water I'm in a hurry, so I end up with a lot of roots showing, and like this you just pour the water on the rock, go, done, and the plant is happy and I'm happy. So I guess from all my inventions this is the more useful one. Forget plastics, use rocks. There's a whole bunch of them around us, so just use what you have at your own hand. Plagues. This is a beautiful picture of plagues. Okay, I guess we could go there. I have a few trees. I have a few plants. Well, and I brought some stuff to show you guys. So, first thing I have to show you. This was actually collected this morning, because yesterday we were talking about potatoes. So this is just an old potato that I put on the ground. I did not take care of it. I did not feed it. I did not treat it. And it actually ended up giving all these little guys. And I was very happy. Because it is quite a bit for something that I was going to throw away in the first place.
Isso é o quê?
Batata. Batatinha. Isto era uma batata velha que eu tinha, enfiei na terra e deu-me esta meia dúzia, pequeninas, mas saborosas, e para uma coisa que eu ia deitar fora. Acho que está muito bom. Now, on this subject, I don't grow potatoes. They are too much trouble. They get a lot of pests. So honestly, forget about the white potatoes, grow sweet potatoes. It's easier, they love it here, you know, just work with the environment.
But those there are great.
Yeah, well, this is actually from the supermarket, an old potato from the supermarket that it became too old and I just stuck it in the earth. And sometimes they grow, sometimes they die, but since this is basically garbage that I am recycling, well, upcycling, who cares, you know? Because I have a lot of neighbors in our plot that actually grow potatoes, and they use massive amounts of chemicals, because they just don't do well here. The mildew destroys them all. So honestly, what's the point, you know? Sweet potatoes are healthier anyway, so why are we messing with that kind of stuff? I guess that is like my first question in terms of biological agriculture. Because it's like we are always trying to make out of nature what we want it to be. So we want to grow white potatoes, we want to grow tomatoes, we want to grow this, we want to grow that. Don't. Just grow the stuff that grows well in your yard, in your backyard, in your field, and it really varies from field to field. So stop fighting against the pests, just choose plants that don't mind having pests, you know, and everything is hunky-dory. In that sense, this is the one thing that I do fight, and I have to, because, yeah, it makes strands, like, yes, like, this grew in, look, this is crazy, and this is like the only plant in terms of pests that I really have to manage, because otherwise it invades everything. But for this, if you have something as simple as this, it works beautifully. Because if you try with the machines, it does not work. With this, you just... and it all comes out in the teeth. So for me, this is the most useful farming tool I have. A simple trident. I don't know how to say this in English, but it works very well. You just do this from time to time, it's perfect. Another thing that I always take out of the ground when I see is these little plants. Please pass them around. They are quite pretty, but for some reason they are incredibly susceptible to fungus. So you will see that these two plants are full of orange dots. And what happens is, these are the ones to get sick first. And after you have these ones sick, everything else catches the fungus from them. So this is a huge vector of infections, and usually whenever I see them growing, even if they are small, I take them out, because I know that after a while it will be everything else. And in terms of fungus, I have 3 wonderful different fungus, beautiful. I have the white, I have the black, and I have the orange. So these are my fungus. Show me yours. And honestly, I have absolutely no good solution for this. The thing that I do that works is just cut the diseased leaves and make sure the leaves are not too thick. Because what happens with the tomatoes, if you have a lot of leaves touching each other, it accumulates water, and then it gets a lot of that plague. If the leaves are actually well spread, then usually they dry faster, and it ends up not being so sick. So just prune your plants, you know, otherwise it's chaos. This is a very unhappy plant, unfortunately. This is the saddest plant in my entire yard. It's a lemon tree. I did everything I could think of, and it's still like this. It's horrible. So the whitefly, Mosca mineira, burrows in the leaves. Then comes the fungus, then comes the cochinilla and the aphids, and it's always sick, period.
Put ash on it?
Try it. Then comes the rain, washes out the ash. Vinegar helps, but again comes the rain, washes it out. So either I'm spraying it like every 2 days, or it's sick, period. It just doesn't like the place where it is. I don't want to cut it down because, okay, poor plant, but it's really, really miserable there. It should not be there, you know? So again, adjust to the conditions you have. But you also have some good plants. And in terms of good plants, this is still the lemon.
The depressing lemon.
The depressing lemon.
Just got a bag full of lemons.
The poor lemon. So one of the very nice plants I have and that helps a lot are actually marigolds, calendula officinalis, and this plant is amazing and it's good for the other plants and it's good for us. Because first it calls the bees, and you need pollinators. If you don't have bees, forget it, you will not have fruits. You really need to call in reinforcements. And also calendula is very nice for us. So here with this strong sun, I often get sunburns, I often get problems with dry skin. And the calendula makes the most amazing oil with just a little bit of olive oil for your skin. Practically any kind of rashes you have, it will take care of it. So it's a useful plant to have in your backyard. You can also eat the petals in a salad. It's mildly antiseptic, so it's actually good for your bacteria. So it's a good plant. Another good plant I forgot to bring is cloves. But that one is good mostly for the plants around it. The tomatoes. One of the problems we have here is the ground is not rich enough in some compounds, mainly nitrogen and calcium. So calcium, you can take care of that easily, just drop some eggshells in your garden instead of throwing them away and your plants will be happy. But with the nitrates, either you use the blue chemical stuff or the plants do go hungry. So you can bury fish bones in the ground, that takes a bit longer, or you can just let the cloves grow. The three-leaved cloves, trebos, what they do, they are a nitrogen fixer. So if you have a lot of them in your backyard, at the same time they are covering the ground, so they do not allow other plants that you don't want to grow, but also they are fixing nitrogen all the time, so they are actually feeding the other plants around yours. And as Hugo was saying yesterday, if you have like a bare field with just one little plant there, well, every single pest is going to attack that plant. If you have a lot of different plants, if you have wild plants mixed with the ones that you want to grow for food, what happens is the pests kind of spread out, thin out, and the ones you want to save actually survive a lot better because they do not get the full-blown attack of the pests. So the idea of a field that is something brown with a few green stuff sticking out, forget it. Just make a green field, you know? But don't let just any pest grow. Figure out which herbs are good, useful for you. Let those grow. And put food in the middle of those. They will actually protect the others. Another very good idea is I am always worried about the worms. Because for me it's like, okay, if I have worms, then I know that this soil is alive. If the worms are happy, the plants are happy. So they are sort of the barometer I use. And for some reason, the worms love onions. So if you dig out an onion, you will usually find a worm or two living in the roots. So what I do now is usually instead of having all my onions concentrated in one patch, I just put onions throughout the entire garden to sort of try and have worms throughout the garden. They do not bother the other plants, but for some reason they appear to be good for the worms. I do not know why, but I really noticed that my plants are growing better when I put onions near them. So I have here some marigold seeds and some tomatoes from my backyard, if somebody wants to have a snack or take some seeds. And in terms of useful plants, calendula. It's there in the book, Calendula officinalis. If you want to take a look at the pictures. Another very, very cool plant is this, Lucia lima. It actually grows into a small tree. It has a beautiful smell. And this you can use to make oils. You can dry and make a tea and put in your tub. You can just make tea out of it. It gives you beautiful flowers. It smells wonderfully. And it's pretty much pest resistant. I sometimes have some problems, but you just prune it and it reborns again. So, and it's also a very good tea for people who are stressed. It has a calming relief, you know? So next time you're stressed, just pour yourself a cup of that instead of taking Xanax and you'll probably be better off. Wild spinach is also very good for those of you who like that kind of stuff. Lucia Lima? It's legal, guys. Come on, grab it. It's actually legal.
Will it grow if you...
Probably, but this is a bit too late because it's already flowering, Kim. But you can always try. But I can give you some next year. There you go, pretty. Okay, next wonderful, wonderful medicinal plant. Boldo. And this beautiful little thing is actually very good to clean your kidneys. And I know I drink a little bit too much sometimes. I'm guessing most of you do. So, if you really want to give your liver a boost, just take one leaf and you either make a tea out of it or you put it in a water bottle and just let it be there and you drink that water throughout the day. And it's actually very, very good for you, and the smell is lovely. It's intense, but I like it. The only thing is only one leaf a day and maximum 1 month, and then give it a couple of weeks for your body to rest and you can start again. So this is not the kind of plant that you can use always, and you need to be careful about the quantities because this is a strong remedy. Like the Lucia Lima, you can drink whatever you want. With this one, you need to be a little bit careful about the doses.
What's the name of the...
Boldo. I don't know how to say in English, maybe in the book. We can check it later. And another thing I really like is these flowers taste really, really well. So, I encourage you to try. Yeah, and this one grows really well from twigs. So, if you want some of it, just plant it. What? Yeah. Yeah. So if you plant one of these, it grows like crazy. It really does well here. So, passa. Pronto. Olha. E que é boldo? Tadinho do boldo.
Bem bom.
Que maldade.
Esta parte não é só a parte roxa.
It's sweet. You don't like it, Kim?
It's very sweet. It's sweet.
The flowers, love, not the leaves. The leaves are bitter.
It's
Oh.
very sweet. Yeah.
You can always put some honey on it. Sorry.
Valentina, 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, so 5 minutes. What do I have to tell you guys?
Or more
Look,
things to-
it's not one thing. It's the whole thing. It's not enough to change one thing. We need to change everything. We need to change the way we look at things. So it's not enough to just don't use chemicals. It's not even enough to plant your food. We all need to start looking at the footprint we are leaving, and we need to slow down. Because often we are like, okay, I don't have the time to bake my own bread. I don't have the time not to go to the supermarket. Well, if you don't have the time for that, you are going to have to find the time to be sick. As simple as that. Because you will be, and very soon. The amount of chemicals around us, it's insane. So either you take the time to take care of yourselves before you are sick, or then your body will force you to stop and take care of yourselves. So I urge you all to do it before you are sick. It's much nicer. That's it. Oh, one last thing, sorry. The idea with the backyard and with the field and with all this stuff is, in terms of what we plant, if we can plant varieties that are already adapted to these islands, then we need a lot less chemicals, we need a lot less fertilizers, because we're actually planting something that grows here. So I think the next stage in terms of biological and what we should all start worrying about is actually preserving the local seeds. What Hugo was saying, he buys a local fava at the cooperative because that fava does really, really well here. So me and Tiago started doing this 2 years ago because we went to the Canaries and we met the most amazing people. They have a seed bank. It operates in a very simple principle. They have a huge fridge at home and they give seeds to whomever wants seeds. But then you need to give back twice as much seeds as you got, if you can make it grow. If it dies, it dies. But if you have a crop, then you need to give it back to the bank seed. And that way they actually have a lot of different varieties, and they are really trying to collect all the local varieties they can. So me and Tiago, we now have like 10 different seeds. It's not a lot. We would like to have more. We would like to trade seeds, we would like to collect some, we would like to really preserve the different agricultural varieties that exist in these islands, and we really need your help in order to do that. So if you have some local seeds, please contact us. We're not hard to find. And let's do this, but let's do it all together. Let's do a seed bank, you know? First Bio Festival.
A free one, an open one.
Yes,
Not
exactly.
like the one we have here already and we cannot see it.
No.
Everyone
Fridge.
knows what I'm talking about?
Yeah. A
Okay.
fridge in somebody's house. When you enter, you have a cup of coffee, you look at the seeds, you take, you
And
bring.
exchange
Exactly.
freely.
So my proposal is, okay, we had a Bio Festival. What is going to happen after it? What is going to be the mark that this Bio Festival leaves? My suggestion is, let's make the mark of this Bio Festival the official opening of a seed bank. I have the space to have the seeds in my place. Maybe some of you also have a little bit of space in your fridges. So let's make a collective bank seed. Now, today. Thank you.